Hey cats, it's your midsole man EDDBUD here. Today an initial review on a new shoe from ASICS. This is the NIMBUS 28. ASICS have sent this one to me for review, but they're not paying me to make this video. I'm just giving you my honest opinions as per usual. There's a quite significant weight drop between this new version of the NIMBUS and last year's model. I've got 314 grams or 11.2 ounces in my UK 11, US size 12. I think last year's model was 354 with 12.5 ounces, so it's a significant weight drop, and that is very welcome. It really does wonders for the shoe. Actually, it makes it feel much more nimble on foot, lighter, a little bit more versatile. I actually weighed the shoe a couple of times because I couldn't quite believe my eyes as to how light it was compared to last year's model. I'm measuring about 45 millimeters of stack height in the heel and about 36 millimeters up front, so it's supposedly like an 8mm drop. I think that's roughly what we've got here, though it is a little bit odd in terms of the sample size stack. That's supposed to be about 43.5, so it's a bit of a strange shoe, this one. It's not quite adding up as it usually does in terms of my measurements. Width in the widest point of the forefoot is 12.5 centimeters, and I've got about 10.2 centimeters in the heel. Just to put it into perspective, this is a narrower version of the NIMBUS. Last year's was 12.9 in the forefoot and 10.7 in the heel. So I think ASICS are very deliberately making this one a little bit more streamlined, perhaps differentiating it a little bit against the Kayano model, a bit more of a nimble NIMBUS this time around. The Flight Foam Blast Plus here does come in at around about Shore A30, which is pretty much what we had last year. It's a soft yet quite resilient foam, and I don't think you'll ever get any problems in terms of durability here. Upperwise, I really like the stretchy knit tongue here in the NIMBUS. They've had that on a few of the recent iterations. There's some gusseting there to stop it sort of moving around. You won't get any tongue slide here. I got a good lockdown, but I have to say the laces are very short. I don't know whether that's just in my pair, but I just about managed to do a runner's knot. There's not an awful lot of excess lace here. Maybe that's part of ASICS' plan to minimise the weight even more. We now have lace loops on 3 of the eyelets in the chain. I do like the reduced bulk on the rear pull tab here as well. They've made it a little bit narrower. Aside of that, it's still quite a nice plush, comfortable upper around your foot, though feels a little bit narrower than it did last time out. The toe box area is still roomy enough. I wouldn't suggest it's sort of overly roomy. It does feel a little bit more dialed in than the slightly wider 27. Personally, for me, this is the best NIMBUS upper for several years. I think they've dialed it back a little bit in terms of the plushness. Just feels a little bit more up for it. We got a couple of thin overlays on either side of the upper, but they don't really add much weight. Feels like ASICS are tailoring the shoe a little bit here to go head to head with the Magmax 2, which I think has come out today. I haven't been sent a pair of those, so I might pick them up. I think Puma might be scaling things back a bit in terms of who they're sending shoes for review. So I like the subtle changes here. There's lots of small, little tiny changes that are making the shoe that bit lighter. I'll give this one a 2.8 out of 3 for the upper after my initial runs. Midsole.
Midsole now.
Midsole wise, I think this is a step in the right direction to make the NIMBUS a bit more nimble again. Not quite the same width and landing platform as we had before. Yeah, it's still very stable underfoot. I think for a lighter built runner like me, this one just feels a lot more enticing to run in now. 40 grams less weight, I mean, that says it all really. I can see Tim Gross actually being quite interested to try this one out now. It's certainly a big departure from before Tim, where the 27 at times felt like perhaps almost too much of a landing platform. The V28 is a lighter and more fun shoe to run in. Less heft, more excitement. You still have the nice resilient foam here, but it doesn't feel out of place at easier paces or for some faster clips now into aerobic effort. I think the last couple of NIMBUS shoes for me were certainly mired really in a more sort of easy or recovery type zone, whereas this one's certainly breaking out of that. Let's not forget there's many club runners out there that really love the NIMBUS model. It's a sort of do-it-all kind of shoe, and it feels a lot more like that again this year. Slightly more controlled ride in terms of the midsole, so a little bit more predictable and consistent. We still have the pure gel directly under the heel here to stabilise those landings. Doesn't quite feel as controlling as the Mag Max. We haven't got that bucket seat, which sort of fits around the back of the foot quite so much. I mean, it's certainly a shoe that likes to sort of roll through from the heel through to the forefoot, but it doesn't feel super controlling. I think it will be a little bit more forgiving for different foot strikes. Is it a little bit softer than last time? I mean, possibly. This foam has never been the most compressive, but I'm glad they haven't used Flight Foam Blast Max here. That would be simply too soft for the Nimbus. So I think it's a good alternative model now. Perhaps if the Nova Blast 5 is too soft for you, or the Cumulus as well, that shoe features a similar sort of material. A nice controlled landing here. It's still stable, but just feels a lot more fun. I'll give it a 2.8. out of 3 for the midsole so far after my initial runs. And in the outsole, they have improved things as well. They've kind of gone for this strip-like design, which actually provides a lot more flexibility in the shoe, but yet still manages to feel stable as well. I think that's a bid to try and remove a bit more weight, and they have done that across the whole shoe. There's a little bit more exposed foam, yes, but this stuff is pretty hardy and resilient. You're not going to burn through this anytime soon. It's hybrid ASICS grip up front and then AHA Plus in the heel. I'm pretty sure that this stuff will still be around hundreds of years into the future, which is a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. The ridges here in the forefoot aren't quite as deep as we had in the version 27 from last year, but the placement here is the key to making this a slightly better model. It's very sticky actually. The grip's good on road and pavements. I'm not going to take the shoe out today because it's blowing a storm out there. It is terrible. But I think if you're running on those sort of standard surfaces, you'll be fine. It's not a trail model, so don't even think about it. A slightly less rigid ride over the 27, but still with that assured grip. I'll give it a 2.8 out of 3 for the outsole so far. Value-wise, I believe these launched for 180 Earth credits here in the UK, which is a lot of money. It's right up there in terms of non-plated shoes, but I think many club runners will be keen to know whether this one's an improvement, and it certainly is. It's soft enough for easier runs, and then perhaps heading into that aerobic territory now as well for me. And perhaps now with the more meagre weight of the shoe, people could use this again perhaps for marathoning. Why not, eh? The comfort's there, the consistency is there in the midsole. Not everybody wants a carbon plate shoe like the SC Elite Volume 5, for example. Packing foam type midsole. This is a little bit more resilient. I think many will find the Nimbus more than enough for their longer, slower runs. So you ask yourself, if the shoe hits lots of categories within a rotation, you know, is it worth the price? It's a bit like the Mega Blast, isn't it? To some people, they'll get like hundreds of miles out of it, and it occupies loads of spaces in the shoe rotation. So only you can answer that one. If only like the Vomero Plus was a little bit lighter, you know, this is lighter than that shoe and people love that one. But alas, you know, some foams are just too soft for people and they still want something that's a little bit more consistent underfoot. I think that's where the Nimbus 28 will come in. Builds classic standard ASICS quality here. There's no dodgy glue marks or misaligned parts. It's just sort of solid ASICS quality. I would go true to size on this one. No need to go up a half or down a half a size. Best Nimbus for years. It's still comfortable but much lighter now. Bit more usable and versatile than before. I'll give it a 2.7 out of 3. Just wish it was a little bit cheaper. If I've totaled the scores up correctly, that gives us 11.1 out of 12 for the ASICS Gel Nimbus 28. Are you a Nimbus fan? Has the new improved version here sparked your interest? It's very seldom that you get a new model of a shoe that is reduced in weight by that much. It really is quite staggering. You can feel it in hand. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one down in the comments. Quick musical interlude for you. The rain is hammering at the roof and the windows at the moment. Reminds me of the song It's Raining Today by Scott Walker. The different sections of the song are so full of atmosphere and mood. It's practically seeping out of the speakers towards you. The string section arrangements here are just wonderful. They provide this feeling of that sort of rain, that sort of hazy kind of mist outside. There's these discordant strings as well. the notes just sort of grating together that provide this eerie kind of feel in the background, where the lyrics are very much reminiscing about sort of like a better time, that sort of sentimental vibe. I seem to really love that. The whole album's great actually, Scott 3. I recommend you go and check it out. But yeah, put this on, open the window and just listen to the rain and the wind. Beautiful stuff. It's alright to be a bit introspective sometimes, I think. You know, you can only listen to Walking on Sunshine so many times, can't you? It's good to experience the whole range of music, because life is a bit like that, isn't it? There's good times, there's bad times, and there's stuff in the middle. Scott Walker, It's Raining Today. Hope you enjoyed this Nimbus review. Hit that subscribe button if you're yet to do so. Also, give this video a thumbs up, like, and drop us a comment for the algo. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you